upset the world football by beating Wales 2-0. Meanwhile, England could not break down the soccer nation. That is, of course, the USA. What's going to go happen in Group B? We're going to take a look at it in some analysis. Coming at ya next. That's right, folks. Back again, of course, another match review. Looking back at both games over in Group B. Of course, Wales, Iran, USA, England. And we'll get to that in a second. Of course, people shout out about VIPs. They are the patrons. If you're new, though, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. Back to all things England, Iran, USA, and, of course, whoever else I've left out there related. We've got all here, boys, under one roof. Of course, though, what's, of course, going on over in Group B? Well, let's recap the results and all the drama then, shall we? Starting with the early door game. 2-0 it was, Iran over Wales. And, of course, we saw our first red of the World Cup, and that was Wayne Hennessy on the 86th minute. That was the catalyst to change this game. That's right, as Iran played the final 15 minutes or so of the game with up against 10 men, and they scored 2 goals in the process. Chasimi on the 90th plus 8 minutes, and then Rachid Rezalan on the 11 plus minutes. But as you can see, possession-wise, Iran didn't have much of the ball. Wales did, but they did nothing with it. It's toothless, it's boring, it's basic, it's frustrating. It just goes to show what kind of team Wales are. They don't like to have the ball. They like to do what Iran... They would pretty much do what Iran do to Wales today. And I think that's what Wales have got to do now against England, of course. They've got to... do this kind of game and maybe have a bearing on England's future in this World Cup. But anyway, 21 shots for Iran compared to the 10 of Wales. 6 of them off target, 5 of them off target for Wales. Of course, corner 7 of 2, but the tail of the tape is in the scoreline. Hennessy will not be involved. Of course, Ward came on for those final 5 in a few minutes, but of course, had to pick the ball out twice. Let's remind ourselves of the 11 then, shall we? Of course, Hennessy between sticks. Chris Meppen, Joe Rondon and Ben Davies make up a back 3. Pandu, Ramsey in midfield. Roberts, Williams with Harry Wilson in attacking midfielder slot there with Bale and Kiefer Moore up top. It's pretty much how I thought it would be. As for the substitutions, we saw Danny Ward coming on, of course, not to his preference, though. Joe Allen, Daniel James and Brendan Johnson, but of course couldn't break them down in the end. What about the opposition? Iran, Hosseini remained in goal, of course, no Badaravaldi still out there. Boularaji, Hosseini, the centre-backs, of course, Mohammadi and Rezen, of course, got himself a goal, didn't he? Etazalzi, Noor Ali, Hajasi, Galazea and Asmund and Tarimi up top. Of course, they were a handful. Didn't get amongst the goals, but of course, caused all kinds of problems. As for the substitutions, Chasimi coming on, got himself a goal. Ali Karimi as well came on. Tarabi, Jajabesh, and Asarafat as well. Let's take a look then, of course, at the heat maps. Of course, not the heat maps, we'll get to that in a minute. They're the man of the match. Tarimi with a 7.9, Asmund with a 6.8. I think that's a bit bonkers. But of course, Tarimi with a 7.9. Take from that from what you will. 7.5 for Ben Davies. 7.2 for Hennessy. What are you doing? I don't know what they're smoking here. But anyway, the heat maps. This is Wales, all the gear, but no idea. This is where the you need to have your possession. It's not in that final third. As for Iran, though, sporadic, but of course did put some pressure on the goalkeeper. None the same. Meanwhile, I might get some words of wisdom from a Welsh wonder or some Iranian fans. But again, if or not they're not on time, we can't roll with it. But if they are here, they're here right about now. Meanwhile, of course, what else went on over in this group? Of course, it was the Battle of Football against the Battle of Soccer. And, of course, it ended up 0-0. And I must say, the USA were the better side here by a distance. It had Canadian vibes to it, of course, when they played against Belgium. And I did worry that England were going to just take this one chance and put the ball back in there. Fair enough, though, the chances were evenly spread. Of course, 10 up 10 shots for USA, 8 for England, 55% possession for England, 45% possession for the USA. But that doesn't tell the real story here. The real story, the USA hit the woodwork. We're very, very lucky not to get all 3 points here and have put themselves in an okay position to go through. They've got to beat Iran straight up and down. That's all that happens. They beat Iran, they go through. That's it. And of course, they could go as group winners, they could go home, or they go through as runners-up. However, Iran... And a draw would be okay for Iran. They're content about that. They're going to park the bus FC. So a draw would put Iran on, what would that put them on? 5 points. Of course, unassailable lead. Actually, they put them on 4 points. Meanwhile, the Welsh did lose to Iran. But if they beat England, then maybe there's some sort of permutation that they could still go through with that. But anyway, regardless, yeah, England were dire. Let's remind the team. Of course, Pickford between sticks, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Trippier, Rice, Bellingham, Bellingham, Saka, Sterling, Mount and Kane. As for the substitutions, of course, Grealish coming on, Henderson coming on, and Rashi, but of course could not break them down either. As for the Americans, they started with Turner, Ream, Zimmerman, Robinson, Dest, Adams, Musa, Pulisic, McKinney, Wright and Timothy Weir as well. As for the substitutions, we saw Shaq Moore coming on there, we saw Giovanni Reina, we saw Brendan Aronson and Josh Sargent coming on as well. Who is else is of decent quality? That's pretty much it. Maybe Jesus Ferreira, who could get some game time. Of course, to take the man of the match rating then, 7.5 for Stone, 7.6 for Maguire, 7.8 for Shaw. I really don't get these ratings. I don't know who's making the ratings, but I thought Tyler Adams had a fucking fantastic game. I thought Weston McKennie was a handful as well. So I don't get it. I really don't get these ratings. As you see, there's not much drama into it. As for the heat maps, England with a lot of possession, but really it's in that defensive left-hand side. Sure, having a lot of the ball, really. And of course, USA coming down that left-hand side themselves, trying to penetrate the box and having more... It looks like more possession in the box than that of England. Of course, checked in back with a couple of the English fans. Did they submit some content? We'll have to see. And what about the Americans? Again, that should be right about now.
So, England ran out of goals. So they scored 6 in the first game against Iran and let in 2 at the end of the game. And then, so against the USA last night, it was a very different game. It was a very cagey affair. And the USA dealt with England very well. And they nullified England and kept them at bay, man-marked them. They were very organised. They were very good in that way. And they really took the game to England. They were better than England in an attacking sense, and they had about 1 million corners, well, it felt like it. But England defended them really, really well. So a plus point for me is the defence. To keep a clean sheet for England was a great result in that respect, because after the first game, letting in those 2 sloppy goals, the penalty and the other goal from Iran was class, but England could have dealt with that and should have dealt with it. So in that respect, it was a good result for the clean sheet. But going forward, England didn't break down the USA. They didn't offer enough. They didn't have enough attacks or shots on target. Nowhere near what the USA did. So England were fortunate to keep them at bay and get the draw. All I can say is that the clean sheet is something to build on now. They need to get the goals back. They need to be more creative. I don't know why Foden didn't feature. Foden from the start of the game on the pitch could have made a difference. We needed that type of player. So to not see him at all was disappointing. I don't know if Gareth is deciding to save him, or I don't know Gareth's thinking on that. Because for me, towards the end of the game, I don't think it would have been detrimental to have taken someone like Mount off and put on Foden. Because the players that were on the pitch, nothing was working. Grealish coming on, got us up the pitch, got us a free kick, and was useful. He was definitely useful, and we had a bit more creativity with him on the pitch. But I would have liked to have seen Foden as well. I think that would have been too much for them to handle, and we might have got, well, potentially too much for them to handle, and we might have got a goal. So that would have been what I would have done. But we take the draw and we say, that's a good clean sheet. That's a very good defensive display. We needed that. The defence needed a confidence building a very confident defensive display for the rest of this tournament to give them confidence to believe that they can keep goals out when they need to. And they will need to. Later in the tournament, you need a clean sheet and to nick a goal. Realistically, that's how you get through in World Cups. So there's a lot to build on again now in the attack. We need to be clever about breaking teams down, and I think Gareth should have made an extra change, an extra attacking change, and we might have got the winner. But it's all about the next game now. We're still in a very good position, so a win against Wales and it's job done for sure. So it'd be nice to end the group from an Englishman's point of view with a win and build that confidence right back up going into the knockout stages.
In the USA, born in the USA. That's right, guys. Pete with Philly Rovers here. The Rovers' YouTube channel here for my post-game draw reaction today versus the 3 Lions 0-0. To the good guys, to whoever, doesn't matter. It's a tie. A tie is a tie. A draw is a draw. Call it whatever you want. We get the 1 point today. Huge point. Huge opportunity come Tuesday versus Iran to push ourselves forward, propel ahead into the knockout stage, and put ourselves on the map as a country that is there to compete. And maybe put ourselves in the talking points, the conversation of who's going to win the next World Cup. We made great strides today as a footy nation. America is here. They are a force to be reckoned with. They are hungry. And they are going to do something. Matt Turner at the back kept everyone calm the whole game. He was steady as they come. Weston McKennie, he had 2 opportunities early on, just off target. But the USA, they kept coming. They kept coming. And you hoped that they would get one into the back of the net today. It was not meant to be. But we just needed the tie. We just needed the tie. We saw what happened to Wales early on today. They fell apart. Gareth Bale's gone, guys. It's not looking good for them. It's looking good for the United States of America under Greg Berhalter. It's got to be said, guys. Who would have thought Greg Berhalter would have come up with a big draw today? Couple of questionable lineups. Haji Wright, Shaq Moore. When we came out with a roster there pre-World Cup, everybody was, why? Why Haji? Why Shaq Moore? But you get the draw today. You silence everyone. Now you go to the knockouts. You get the win versus Iran on Tuesday. We will praise Greg Berhalter, and he will solidify his position as our head coach for the time being, for sure. The United States, yeah, they were the ones playing the entire game today. They were the ones coming at England. England struggling. They had to get Grealish in there to save them and then give themselves a couple of chances. And we were getting worried. A couple of set pieces there. Christian Pulisic had his own set pieces. He couldn't capitalize. Back and forth there. But again, Anthony Robinson, the Jedi, Tyler Adams, came up big, guys. Came up big. Our team is good, guys. Our team is good. The U.S. is quite the squad. And now they'll get some rest. They will watch the games. But they cannot take Iran lightly. Yes, they lost 6-2 to England. But we just tied England today. And then Iran 2-0 over Wales today. The Dragons. So come out swinging on Tuesday, and we can do this. We will do this. One more game, guys. One more game in the group stage. It is ours for the taking. Pete with Philly Rovers of the Roverseas YouTube channel. Come on, America! Fight and win! See you guys Tuesday. Peace.
So let's take a look at what the group looks like then, shall we? Of course, England still top the pops with 4 points. Iran are in second spot with 3. And USA are in third with Wales in fourth right now. They've got a negative 2 goal difference. So they need to win against England, maybe 2-0, to give themselves a little bit of hope. Yeah, and Iran are still right back in the thick of things. They've scored 4 goals so far in this World Cup. After the USA beat Iran, and you're home and hosed. That, my friends, is all I've got for you today. In this one, of course, make sure you drop a like, drop a subscribe if you do, and of course, check out the links down below. But non-stop shop all the way through to the final, guys, and hopefully you'll be there with me to enjoy the ride. But until then, guys and girls, hit the old subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the little bell. We go again soon, very, very soon. Until then, guys, we're bouncing out.